Hi, and welcome back to The Travel Bug. I'm your host, Amy Snyder, and I know that many of you viewers out there are college students who, upon graduation, are planning to drop everything and explore the world. Although backpacking can be a freeing and enlightening experience for young adults, there are some dangers out there that we need to be aware of when we're traveling to foreign places. My guest today is here to tell us about how he got lured into a cult while traveling through France alone. Please welcome Bay Area musician and world traveler Tim Platts. Thank you so much, Tim Platts, for coming
Happy to be here.
to visit us today. So you were 20 years old, wandering around France by yourself. Tell us how you first came into contact with the people that took you in.
Well, I've been traveling for about 10 days, and I was young, and I was really freaked out. I was feeling really alone. I thought it'd be a great idea to go to Europe, and once I got there, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So, I was there by myself, feeling really isolated, like I couldn't connect with anyone. And I was hitchhiking one day without any destination at all, and this carload of people picked me up, and they kind of took me under the wing, invited me to stay at their place for a few days. And then after a few days were up, one of the guys, sort of like the head guy, he invited me to stay at his house in France.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped at the opportunity without really thinking about it at all. Here's this guy. Felt like he really understood me. He was a very charismatic fellow, and he was offering me a place to stay. A place where I was going to feel welcome, safe.
So what was this guy like, and what was his name?
His name was Alan Schmidt.
Uh-huh.
You can look him up. He's on the internet.
Okay.
And
so what was Alan Schmidt like?
Alan Schmidt was a very interesting guy. He was a very charismatic fellow. I remember when I first got out of the car, I had a chance really to actually look at the guy. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget the moment where I stood up and I saw him looking over at me, and I felt like he was looking right through me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like he was just checking me out. It was like he was really sizing me up, trying to get a feel for me.
Did you feel like he was kind of worshipped by the other people in the group?
Not at first. That didn't come out until I had been there for a few days, or actually probably for a week or so. But at first, he was just a regular old guy. Kind of like
very kind and generous.
Yeah, really, really nice guy, and he could tell where I was at. He could tell that I was feeling pretty isolated. So after a few days of staying with these guys, he sat me down, and he said, listen, I want you to know, I can tell that you're different. I can tell you're traveling because you want to see what else is out there in the world. You're not happy with what you've seen.
And what did he tell you? The 3 things that he told you. I remember you telling me this, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, so he told me, he sits me down, and he's like, I want you to know 3 things about myself. I've been studying martial arts for 30 years or 40 years or something like that. I'm a vegetarian, and I'm blind. So he wasn't looking through you. No.
He wasn't even looking at you.
No, I don't know what he was looking at. He knew I was there. And he wasn't actually, he was, I think, legally blind. He had hypoglycemia, and he had an infection in his eyes that was related to his hypoglycemia. But he said when he looked through binoculars backwards, that's what was like, he could see things then. Like his glasses, if he had glasses on, would be like as thick as binoculars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, he was a ridiculous guy.
So what kind of things did the group do together that, looking back, you kind of were like, that was pretty odd?
There was a number of things. There was a moment, or I guess an incident at the end of my stay with him. I stayed with him for about a month. And at the very end of it, we were all supposed to get together, him and a bunch of his followers were all supposed to get together and do this dance where you were dressed in white and you stand in a circle and say some things and try and conjure like the spirit or whatever. And just being there with all these people, it was like being with a bunch of people who were all lost. That's the thing they all had in common. And it was really frightening in a way.
So after you got out of there, thank God, and just a couple of years ago, you found out something crazy that you didn't have any idea about.
I decided to look him up and see where he was at. And it turns out he's in jail for kidnapping. He locked a woman in a bathroom for 3 days and fed her dog biscuits.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And this is a lesson to all of you who are about to go traveling. Be aware of who you're hanging out with. You know, don't trust everybody. Thank you so much, Tim Platts, for coming and talking with us today. And have a great night and safe travels.